Oh man, I've got an exciting one to share today. There's been a little bit of YouTube like GunTuber traffic lately, especially from a channel I like to watch called Traveler or Old Path Traveler, and a little bit too of Wyoming Gun Project. But the pistol that he's been talking about a lot lately has been one of these. This is a Tisas 1911 World War II reproduction model, and it's supposed to be a very close facsimile of the World War II 1911 A1 style pistols. And I gotta say, it comes pretty close to that as far as all things that I can see. In fact, I think even CMP was offering Tisas made reproductions for sale, and I think it's pretty much this gun. It could be small differences in details, but I gotta say, I was super curious about these because when these first generation kind of type ones came in, so this is not an earlier one, this is a later model, but when the very first one started to come in, one of the shops I went to had one of the Tisas like World War II Army repros, whatever, the earlier ones that were kind of like the more greenish, I guess, kind of finish to these pistols to kind of mimic a Remington Rand. One of the shops had them in, and then the shop also had a true blue Remington Rand sitting right next to it in the display there. And I thought, oh, that's cool. They have two Remington Rands. Until I got closer and I looked at the roll marks and everything, and just the markings on there. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. That one says Tisas on it. What the heck? So from just that distance of looking down into the display case there, I was like, oh my gosh, these things look almost identical. Like that's a really good job, right? So from that point on, I was interested in these. But I figured to myself, I already have this Rock Island 1911 kind of GI style is what they call it, the GI Classic model, whatever, right? And I've had this for quite a while, and I thought, that's good enough, scratches the itch, right? But it really kind of showed me just how little I actually know about like the super minutia of 1911 models, because this one is definitely wrong in a lot of ways, but it looks close enough. It's 95% there functionally, anyways. But anyway. So then I saw, of course, there's a sale for these ones, the Tisas ones, and Traveler is a really big 1911 guy, and he speaks like so much praise about the Tisas 1911s, and he really likes these things so much. And once I held one in the store, one of the new models like this, I was like, wow, that fits really, really good, because it has, of course, the arch mainspring housing there, which is my favorite mainspring housing. I don't like flats very much, like the Rock Island here is a flat mainspring housing. I mean, sure, it fits well enough, but I really, really like the kind of swell back here for the round ones. So, of course, the short trigger as well. I much prefer those over the larger ones for a number of reasons, and just everything else just really, really just fits my hand super well. And I love a feel of a good 1911. And it's exactly what I felt in the store. So I was like, from that point on, oh man, gotta get one. And I was looking at the price too, and sometimes some places you can find these upwards of like $400 or $500, and I was like, oh man, that's kind of seems like a little much to spend. But I think PSA had a sale on these, and this particular generation one, not the earlier ones, but this particular one, I know it's confusing. There's two generations of these things, but this one came in at like $320 online, and so after shipping, taxes, FFL transfer fee, it's about $400. So not doing too bad. And for what it comes with and everything, I actually quite like the box. It's not too bad. So here's the box it comes in, right? And it comes with your usual stuff you'd expect from Tisas. I've had my high power is a Tisas, right? So very, very similar kind of box construction, but yeah, it's got your usual like cleaning brushes in here, foam cut out. Bushing wrench, that's a nice addition. And of course it comes with the plastic brown grips that you can see here, which I guess is like more accurate, more appropriate, but I have my own opinions on what can be considered clone correct after my experiences with seeing real military weapons in service, right? Anyway, 1911 A1s did have these, but they also had the wooden grips as well. And I kind of agree with Traveler in a way that these seem a little kind of lightly colored. Like they need to be a darker shade of brown, personally, I think, to look really, really sharp. But I don't really like plastic grips on my 1911 anyways, so I opted to stay with the wooden ones here, which are actually quite nice. I would say maybe in terms of like the overall quality, they're not as nice as the ones that I put on here, but these are custom, so from a different place. So these did not come with this pistol at all. No way. the Rock Island came with smooth, cheap wooden grips that were terrible, frankly. So I replaced them with nice wooden ones. But anyway, yes, that's what it comes with and everything. So you know, for 320, 360, 400 bucks, whatever price in that price range, this is absolutely fantastic. I love the fit, finish, feel. Everything on this is like super sharp in a good way. Sharp isn't like good looking. You know, the extractor and everything, the hammer. I have just everything on this just feels very, very quality, very well made. And you know, there are actually slight minor differences as well between this and the Rock Island in terms of like the let me start with the grip safeties. So if you look at the grip safeties, they are slightly differently shaped and seem like to be made of a different material or something, finished differently, but they are slightly different in that way. I will say the Tisas one is much more well fit. It feels more positive versus the Rock Island one is kind of loosey goosey. You know, you can just kind of feels and sounds not as well made or not as well fitted either. Also, the safety on this is extremely positive. Oh my goodness, that thing is absolutely awesome. I love that. And you'd think that with the small old style safety like this, that little nub there wouldn't be enough to actuate the safety. Oh no, it's plenty. You know, I can thumb it on and off, you know, pretty much just as easily as the old style or the new style safety, I should say. Yeah, and that's very, very tight. I love that. Hammer feels good. Trigger feels good. Trigger is you know, not the lightest I've experienced in a 1911, but it's still not bad. Very predictable, very easy to shoot. What else here? Oh yeah, it's a nice touch too that the magazines that it came with comes with 2 of these Metgar magazines, and they are actually Parkerized to go with the rest of the look and feel of the pistol. So the followers are not accurate at all in any way. Metgar really likes to have these style of follower, which is not original, but yeah, they work fine. And what else? Slide stop is fine. The trigger is also here in the front. I don't know if you can see that. It actually is. Think about bumping the camera there. It actually is textured on the front. That's good. I like that. It has the lanyard loop here at the bottom, which initially I thought was going to be a problem because I thought, oh man, when I shove those magazines in there, I'm going to hit my palm right here on the lanyard loop, but that hasn't been a problem, so I haven't really noticed it. The sights are also slightly different from my Rock Island. The Rock Island has a just a bigger kind of rear notch there. It almost seems like a thinner front sight as well, versus the Tisas here has a more kind of thinner and more kind of squared rear sight and a thicker front sight, which it's a very, very minute difference. It's really not all that much, but I still do like the sight picture anyway. It points very well. Also for the fit, feel, the kind of tightness of it. So when I initially took this apart, this getting the bushing out was actually pretty difficult. The recoil spring plug here, of course, was extremely tight, which is a good sign. And when I took it apart and everything, I noticed that the recoil springs were immensely different between these guns. Now, I have like probably 2,000 something rounds through my Rock Island now versus Tisas, which is brand new. But the recoil spring length differences, I'm not going to take them apart because it's too much time, but the recoil spring length on the Tisas was way, way, way longer than the Rock Island. The Rock Island is like maybe like 70% length of the Tisas length, which I was like, dang, that's a big difference. And the feel of the like racking the action and the tightness here in the barrel bushing and the recoil spring plug kind of made me think that they probably put a heavier recoil spring in the Tisas over the Rock Island, which would make sense to me, especially what Traveler has been saying about a lot of manufacturers kind of skimping out on the recoil springs. That makes total sense to me. So Rock Island is after all a budget manufacturer of 1911, so no surprise. But it is also another sign of quality that Tisas took the time to put a correct, quote unquote correct, length power recoil spring in this version. So that's a nice touch. I like that. The frames are also cut differently on the inside here, and there's a lot of people who say that because of the frame differences and things, you can't put like a shock buff, like Wilson Combat shock buff. I have one here. Yeah, like one of these things. I put these in every 1911 I have. I know Traveler says don't do that because it doesn't need it, but I don't care. I run these in all my 1911s. I've never had an issue with them ever. They haven't caused any problems, so I'm going to keep using them. And that includes in this Tisas as well, which some people have said that they've not been able to get a shock buff in theirs or have it to work properly because the frame actually is cut longer in the front for the recoil spring guide plug. It actually is a little bit longer than a Rock Island anyways. When I put the two frames side by side, I could see the Rock Island was cut shorter inside the frame versus the Tisas. Now, I don't know if that's historically accurate or that's how it's supposed to be, if it's two spec, right? But that's just what I noticed. But I was able to fit my shock buff in here and it works fine. So as far as the shooting goes, I had absolutely zero malfunctions and I tested like, I don't know, every single 1911 magazine I have, and I tested them all with a +1 as well, except for the Kimber mag, because I don't know if people know this, the Kimber mags are particularly finicky because of their proprietary kind of like spring and follower system, and how they construct their magazines is just different and weird, and I don't like it. So it can hold 8 rounds, but it can't do a +1 in any 1911 I have. So that magazine's also giving me the most trouble. So go figure, Kimber. But besides that, every single magazine I had worked perfectly fine. All full mag +1 in this gun. And I probably have about like maybe 300, 400 rounds through this Tisas now. So it also fed hollow points perfectly fine. No issues there, which was a surprise to me, honestly, because the older style 1911s were not designed to feed hollow points. But so I didn't expect those to work, but this one does. So if I needed to press this into service, you know, for defensive purposes, for practical applications, I could do that, you know, and I do that with confidence too. After the showing that this thing gave me, I was just like, holy cow, this thing is rocking and rolling. So yeah, no malfunctions at all whatsoever. Shot very, very well. Recoil was controllable, manageable. Just the overall feel of everything shooting with this gun was absolutely fantastic and punches way, way, way above its price point. I mean, honestly, like it was a joy to shoot. I had a smile on my face from round 1 to end of the range day. I shot all my ammo, right? So I can't wait to get this thing back out again. I gotta get more 45 ACP, which is you know, not the cheapest ammo in the world to buy. So I need to stock up a little bit more on that. But yeah, fantastic. So let me show you a few targets here that I did. I did actually save these because I really wanted to kind of create a record of how this is going to do. And let's just say I was very impressed. So I'll start out here. I have these marked. So this is here, first 16. Yeah, 16 shots here at 7 yards. You know, big old hole in the target. This here is also at 10 yards, 17 shots, also a big old hole in the target. No surprise there, super easy to do. Awesome. Now, we're gonna move to, this is 15 yards. This is 16 shots, and you can see I had, that shot here actually belongs to the other group down there, but yeah, this is at 15 yards, and of course it's pulling over a little bit over to this direction, and that's probably just me, honestly, more than anything else. But yeah, my point of aim was right here at the center, and it's hitting high. And that was shown doubly here at 25. So I will say, I did have a picture of it, but at 25 yards, the very first 3 shots I took at 25 yards were all within three shots were all within 1 inch of each other. So I was just blown away by that accuracy. I almost wanted to quit right then and there and be like, you know what, I'm done. I'm never going to be able to do that again. This gun is way more accurate than I'll ever be. But yeah, that's your results here. It tore the paper up pretty good. I mean, that's 45, that's what it does. But as you can see, my point of aim was way down here, and it's shooting way up here. So, sure, it's just an issue with the sights, not with me, or the ammo, because all the ammo tended to print pretty high. This is just 230 grain regular ball ammo, no big deal. But yeah, I mean, this is certainly decent and acceptable accuracy. But like I said, the first 3 shots at 25 yards, 1 inch, I mean, I'm never going to be able to do that again. But that's what I saw. That's what I did. So certainly happy with that. Now, I did take some rounds of shooting with just one-handed because, of course, you know, that's how these things were designed to be shot in the first place. I mean, you can definitely use 2 hands, of course. But I tried both right hand only and left hand only. And at this point, my right hand was getting a little, I don't know, a little tired at that point. I was putting a lot of rounds through this thing pretty quick. I was not taking breaks. I was having too much fun. And then, of course, I tried left hand only. So here's a target I saved, 25 yards. This is left hand only. And you can see I got, you know, my point of aim was way down here at the bottom of the paper, and I got 2 here, which is, but the other shots ended up being here in the black, as you can see. And honestly, I think that's pretty good, you know, for left hand, my non-dominant hand, one-handed only, standing at 25 yards with regular ball ammo. It's not bad, especially when the point of aim has to be so low here. It was a little difficult to see the target because the target backstop at the range I shoot at is completely black. So when you have, you know, iron sights like that on a black background, it's a little difficult to know exactly if you're going to be on the bottom of the page there at the right height, basically, to hit center. But yeah, not bad at all. So all that taken together, I'm extremely impressed by the quality of this gun. And Tisas as well, because that earlier Tisas I had 1911 9mm. I was not impressed with that at all. I was not feeding well. The accuracy wasn't great. The fit and finish was kind of eh. But I think with this particular model, like the World War II, specifically the World War II reproduction model that they have here, I think they take a little bit of extra time to make these a little bit nicer, kind of put nicer parts in them, that kind of thing, and just kind of make them overall just a little bit better. Pay a little bit more attention to them, because really this thing has just been so darn impressive. And you know, if the historical ones were this good, I would say, yeah, I can definitely see why a lot of the old guys really like carrying these in the service, because this is just a fantastic pistol. Honestly, I've had so much fun with it. I can't really think of anything bad to say about it, to be honest. And also too, another big point too that I kind of didn't even notice before until Traveler mentioned it is the ejection port, right? Ejection port is higher, okay, compared to your modern 1911s or Rock Islands that have a lowered ejection port here. I would never have noticed that unless somebody else pointed it out to me. And he mentions as well in his videos that it does actually affect how when the brass gets ejected, it kind of mangles the cases a little bit if you have the high ejection port like this. So I kept some of my cases, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. The case mounts, you can see, instead of being like perfectly round, some of them are kind of dented in a little bit, or kind of, you know, just weird shapes. The brass is kind of bent in different ways. So it is definitely a consideration if you want one of these. You're gonna be reforming your brass probably a little bit more if you're gonna reload out of this gun. Minor problem, you know, not a huge deal, I don't think so. But yeah, I really can't think of anything really negative about this thing. It's just for the money though, for like $320 to $400. I've seen some places maybe as up as like $520 for this. I still think that's a fantastic deal for a bare bones GI style, you know, one of the most accurate reproduction 1911s you can get today. Because like I said, even with this finish, there's cases where you could probably mistake this for a real one, you know, because it just looks that good. So, you know, can't sing its praises highly enough. So, yeah, Tisas, the Turks, they're doing excellent work with these kinds of things, and I'm kind of inclined to try out their other stuff too, you know, because you know, they've really come a long way since that other Tisas that I tried, and of course my high power is Tisas, and that thing is fantastic. So, I guess just like any other manufacturer, I guess they have their good ones and their bad ones, but this is definitely a good one. I am super pleased with this. You know, for bare bones GI style 1911, no frills, nothing crazy, nothing fancy, nice reproduction model. I don't think you can do better, honestly. For the amount of money that you're paying, for the performance that I got, the accuracy, reliability, ease of maintenance, everything else, just perfect. So I definitely understand now why Traveler and the others, Wyoming Gun Project, everyone else who talks about these things, why they like them so much, especially the newest ones, like this particular generation of model is so good. I see it. So yeah, I guess it would be nice to have a lighter trigger pull on this as well. Oh, and before I forget, let me see if I can illustrate this here. So I don't know if it'll show up too much in the lighting, but you can see the firing pin there is kind of a bluish purple color. I don't know if it'll come up in the light, but if you pay close attention, it is a different color, and they do that on purpose because that is a titanium firing pin, which is lighter. Because of course these are Series 70s, Series 70 pistols. So they do not have an internal firing pin block like the Series 80s do. So they need a way to make it more safe. And they do that with a lightweight firing pin, so that way the inertia of the firing pin will not set off a cartridge. Not that I've ever had that issue with any Series 70s pistols that I have or have shot. But hey, it's just another like attention to detail, kind of taking the little extra step to make it a little bit nicer. That I think Tisas did a really, really good job on this. And of course, too, they have it marked right there on the frame, United States property, right? That's a nice attention to detail. There's just so many like little things that Tisas did with this that really, really make it shine and kind of be a step above your usual budget 1911 that you'd expect. So certainly, I would say a better value proposition than your modern Rock Islands that you see out there. Not that Rock Islands are bad, for their price, they're certainly fine. But if it came down to a Rock Island being $300 like this one was, versus this Tisas Historical for $320, I'm going with the Tisas every single day of the week. So it's not even a question. So yeah, I'm super hyped to have this. I'm very, very happy with it. I like bringing this kind of stuff to you guys because I really, really enjoy a good 1911, and this thing is solid, very solid. I have no issues at all recommending this, and if you like historical stuff like I do, and you want a as close to reproduction model as you can get, this right here is the way to go. So cool. Figure share that with you guys. Yeah, I really can't say how much I like this stuff, but yeah, cool. And we'll see you in the next one.